I'd like to talk a little bit about shots and what they are and what to do with them. Basically, a shot is something that the band hits, an accent that the band will hit. There's two main types of shots. There's ensemble shots and sectional shots. The ensemble shots are what I just played for you there. That's where the whole band, the whole ensemble is hitting the shot. A sectional shot is where only one part of the band or a couple parts of the band will be hitting the shot, not the whole band. Now, in those type of shots, I have a couple of rules of thumb that I like to do with them. Basically, the ensemble shots you set up with a little fill, and the sectional shots are not set up. Now, these rules can always be somewhat elastical, so they're open for interpretation. But if you start with these main ideas, the song will work, and then you can elaborate on your own ideas and what you feel is right. So what I like to think of is if I'm doing an ensemble shot, one that would be set up with a fill, I basically would like the same length of the fill that the shot is. So if the shot is a quarter note, I'll use a quarter note fill to set it up. It's not religious, like, if I put a dotted quarter in there, it's going to fall apart. That's kind of a general concept that I start to work with. It's a half note shot, I'll set up with a half note fill because it'll build the tension and release it appropriately. If I have an eighth note shot and I have a 2-bar fill setting it up, there's going to be lots of energy, pop, it's not really contextual. So you want to have it working in relation to your shot. When doing shots, whether ensemble or sectional, you want to have it in relation to what the band is doing. There's basically staccato and legato shots. Legato is just like a long one or a smooth shot where there's, more of a sustained note to it. And staccato is a very sharp, quick one. So if you have some staccato sectional shots, you don't want to be hitting like big crashes and just going, you might be hitting just a snare or just a hi-hat or just a tom or just a splash, just something small to go with that small sound. If you have a big ensemble shot, then you want to have bigger sounds that will support that as well. So that first section I did was an ensemble shot. You can see I was just just kind of filling in throughout those shots, which helps the tune to release and to build. So right now I'd like to do for you another ensemble shot. That was another example of ensemble shots. The whole band hit that dum dum bum 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 bum. You see just a little fill setting it up. Now I'm going to do it again with a fill that I feel doesn't work. It's a little bit too much for those shots. So we'll do it again. This is the way not to do it. So you can see that's an example of what not to do. The fill, again, needs to foreshadow what's coming up. So you're foreshadowing the shot. The shot is light and easy, so you want the fill to be the same way. It's just like the fills, how they are an extension of a beat or a feel in the tune. The fill to the shot needs to foreshadow the release. So there's some ensemble shots for you. Now I want to do sectional shots. This is just where part of the band will hit an emphasis or an accent, but I don't set these up. I will play off of them and just kind of push them a little bit, but here, I'll do an example for you. So you can see on that section, the ensemble part was just the guitar. The guitar had those little offbeat pushes, and I just played it with my snare and my bass. I didn't set them up or anything. It was appropriate for his tone, and that it worked. It flowed with the tune because it's a part of the verse. It's not a transition to anything, so you don't want it overly emphasized. So you want to keep it subtle and supportive. And now, again, I'll show you a way that would be a little bit too much for me to play. So we'll try it again. Now, for some of you, that might have sounded good, but that's just one segment of a song. If you take that over a full song and you're doing that every verse when the band's low energy, it's not going to work for the whole tune. When you build your fills and develop your sections, you want to take in the whole tune, because you'll notice sometimes when I play songs, the fills I use at the beginning are a little less energy than the ones I use at the end. It makes the tune more climactic. So again, you want to make sure that your shots are always supportive. If your guitarist is just kind of hitting little energy like this, you're kind of hitting little energy like this. You know, you're just wailing all over the place, because again, we're supportive of them. So if anything, our energy needs to be beside them or underneath them. So here is another example of a sectional shot. So you can see in that section, the guitarist is just kind of playing off those triplets, and I just kind of went with them a little bit here and there, very subtle. If I was doing that in a full tune, I wouldn't play it that often. I might do it once every verse or something, just a little bit more sporadic. That way it becomes, you know, a little bit more interesting. It's like if you give someone a taste of chocolate ice cream, they're kind of like, that's nice. You give them another taste, like, yeah, it's really nice. And you give them a third, and it kind of builds on the flavor. It's much like that with our fills. You know, you give them a little bit of a taste of something, and, you know, it kind of works up the taste buds, or musical taste buds, and you embellish it and kind of give them a bit more. But if you give them too much, it'd be like, you know, chocolate ice cream is great, but, you know, 40 drums of it in a row is just like a little too much. So you want to be able to keep it tasteful and just very musical in reacting to the building or the crescendo of the tune. Now the thing comes in about what shots are there and which ones should one practice. In the encyclopedia, there's a whole bunch of shots in that one section. There's done in straight eighth and in triplet, because ideally one should be able to do shots at all different tempos in all different styles. Now that might sound a little bit daunting and kind of like, you know, I don't have 80 years to practice. It's not that bad. After a while, it begins to relate, because I find the two bases of feels are the triplets and the straight eighth. So I wrote out the shots in straight eighth, then triplet, and I have a series of about 17 shots each with either one of those feels. And I got that idea from Steve Houghton, who helped me to develop all my shots and stuff. So just work through them slowly, different tempos, different styles. You know, the Latin stuff you can do in triplet or straight eighth, and just mix it up and just be comfortable of setting up a shot at any point in the bar.